Now we're looking at this foot, Mr. M again. We've already looked at this slice here on this top face and this bottom face. And so now, and we've looked at this face here, but now we're going to start looking at these other three faces down here. And I was able to get a really good cut with my new saw blade. And so I've been able to take 1/2 centimetre quite accurately through here. So this is now what we're going to look at. We're going to look at these two faces in here, these two faces and these two faces. And I think they're going to reveal a few things to us, which I'm hoping are going to be very exciting. So I'll just take the top layer off because we've already looked at this. And we've also looked at this layer here, if you remember that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at 1/2 centimetre down. We're going to look at this layer. Now what's quite cool actually is if I just lay this side by side like this, it's almost like the whole foot. Yes, we've got a bit missing here because when I dissected out the navicular bone, I had to take away some of this tissue. And so that's why it looks a bit odd, but it actually does look quite cool, doesn't it? All right, I'm digressing. Let's focus on the bit that we wanted to look at, which was this part at the front, and I am pretty excited about that. I'm going to take this lot away and we're going to focus on this one now. This is such an amazing view. This really is a view of a lifetime, isn't it? Let me just give you your bearings so you know what you're looking at, because I know it can start to get quite difficult when we're going down through the foot in this plane. This is the coffin bone round here, so we've got a surface round here and another one here. And so this is the toe up at this point here. This is the hoof wall, the lamina. This is the deep digital flexor tendon. This here is the digital cushion. This is the collateral groove at either side of the frog. So what's coming in really nicely now is the bar, which is through here. So remember that the hoof wall comes round and the bar is a continuation of that hoof wall, and that's why it looks very similar. We've got similar lamellae that are through there. I mean, it's just this such an amazing view. We've got a little bit of digital cushion just running through the back there, tiny little bit just there. And then if we look really carefully at this point here, we can actually see the lamina of the bar, well, at the back of the foot, around the back of the foot where you've got the heel. It's quite beautiful through there. I'm going to get some macro photography of that. But interesting, look what happens here. So the bar's coming round and should end, and we've got this strange sort of appearance through there. So it's not just ending, and I need to think about this a little bit, but it's quite beautiful, isn't it? And quite different to what we've seen before. And also we've got a little bit of collateral cartilage here. We've still got collateral cartilage, just a little bit, but we've also got some, I think it's there as well. And we seem to have some, it looks like fibrous tissue. It might be a ligament running through there, but there's still lots of connective tissue in this whole area. Some of the things I'm seeing in this foot are starting to really excite me. Before we get onto the tip, I just want to show you something else that I've just seen in the back here. If you look at the coffin bone, or P3, if you look at this area here, can you see there's like a big divot out of it? And I think that if I rotted this foot out to look at the bone, we would see a great big hole there. There's also a big hole here. There seems to be some serious bony change around here as well, and like I said, we've got a little bit there. And let's move round to the front of the foot, and just as we expected, we're seeing the lamina are really stretched at this point, and here we have the yellow showing through, which I think is the lamina serum starting to appear. And I thought I could see it in the sagittal section, but we really can see it now. Now the other thing that I can see is that there does seem to be a little bit more blood in here than I expected, but we still have quite deranged lamina through there. They are still quite white, but there's a little bit more blood than I thought. But do you know what I'm thinking? I'm not thinking it's blood due to the lamina. I think it's blood which is actually oozed out because it seems to be in the wrong place. I'll get some macro photography on this, but what it looks like is that we've got shearing forces and ripping forces, which is allowing the blood to seep into this area here. Now that's what it's looking like to me. I could be completely off beam, but that's what I'm thinking. And then all the way around here we can see the blood supply, and that's looks scarred, it looks a bit deranged. So let me just zoom in. We've got the hoof wall to our right, and you can see the non-pigmented layer quite beautifully there. You've got the dark layer and then the non-pigmented layer. Look at that yellow area. It looks like laminar serum is starting to infiltrate in that area. And I do think that those are flecks of blood. I do think that's where it's torn away, the lamina have torn away from each other. Although when I come further around the back of the foot where it's more intact, isn't that amazing? So it just shows that as we go round to the back of the foot, we still have connection. But as we come to the front, that's where the connection is being ripped apart. So down to the bottom left there, we've got the coffin bone. Let's go up and I'll show you where I saw that part missing out the coffin bone. Just get into that in the centre of the view. So there we are. That looks like more coffin bone has been reabsorbed, and I would have thought it was due to pressures and insults. Oh, there's a beautiful view here. Can you see those holes in the centre of the screen? That is the blood supply that's running around the whole of the perimeter of the foot. As we're coming towards the back here, we can see there are more holes in the centre of our view now. There's a hole in the coffin bone again. And as I move up, brilliant view of the lamellae, the sensitive and the insensitive lamellae. And we're coming round towards the heel quarters now. Let's get to the back. Coming into view now in the centre are the lateral cartilages, and in the very centre is just the very last part of the coffin bone, the wing of the coffin bone. And here is the beautiful switchback where you have the hoof wall that comes around the back and then forms the bar. So that is probably the seat of corn area, I suppose you would call it that. This is the bar coming into view now. And that was that part I described earlier where the bar was appearing from the hoof wall. And the way it's been cut, we've got a little bit of digital cushion there. Hey, look at the frog at this point here, and put it in the centre of the view. Look at that, the way the frog changes from frog into digital cushion. So that is your interface between the frog and the digital cushion. Isn't that cool? And so that black area there is your collateral groove of the frog. We're still in frog tissue at this moment. We're not actually in the actual groove. And down to the bottom of the screen is our digital cushion. Coming down now, that's that really strange area where it was the bar. So I'll just take you up here. There's the bar coming down now, and then it becomes this strange sort of looking structure. So I think I need to look at a few more capsules on the inside to get my bearings about where we are with this, because it looks quite strange, doesn't it? And I think that what we've got in the centre of the screen there is a little bit of connective tissue. It could possibly still be a little bit of cartilage at that point, and a little bit there. And in the centre of our view now is the deep digital flexor tendon, and now we are moving up towards the coffin bone. And the reason we've got that big hole there in the centre of the screen is because I've taken the navicular bone out. So we would have seen the very tip of the navicular bone there if it had been there. And now let's move down. We're still in coffin bone mode here. And then we're moving down to the lamella interface with the hoof wall. Isn't that cool? I'm always amazed. I hope you enjoyed that.